Good morning, Grace friends, and anyone else who happens to be watching. It's time for our Saturday morning devotional, and it's my turn again. I'm pleased to be able to spend a few moments with you and just share some things that are on my mind and on my heart, and play a little music too. I know from the comments I received last week, a lot of you found that to be refreshing and relaxing and meaningful. And it is for me as well. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. But first, just some thoughts, I think. This has been a hard few weeks for all of us. And those of you who know me well know that I'm kind of a happy-go-lucky person, and I am generally an optimist, and I look on the bright side of things, and I'm usually a pretty flexible person, and so when life throws a curve, I tend to compensate, and hopefully during this time I've been able to continue to be me and do those things. And yet, it occurred to me several times over the last few weeks. This is the first time in 30 years that I won't be leading worship in some form on Easter Sunday morning. Holy Week is a long week. It's in all the different churches I've served, it's meant a lot of work. It's meant a lot of concentration, and often it's hard to enter into the spirit of Palm Sunday and Maundy Thursday and Good Friday and even Easter Sunday, because I'm so focused on the details of the things that have to be done. And so sometimes it's not maybe as meaningful to me as I think it could or should be. And so this year it's been different. We still have the services to do, but I'm putting them together, or taking videos and putting audio and video together and making screens and doing all those things. So I've still been very busy. And still not really able to focus too much on the meaning of this time of the year. And yet, Good Friday is finished. In a few moments I will go and render Easter Sunday service. And then I'll be done. And as I'm recording this, it's Friday afternoon at 1:29, and so I have some space to think and to meditate on the cross. And I think of the disciples and of the friends of Jesus and of the fact of their deep grief in losing their friend and losing their teacher. Their uncertainty in not knowing what was going to happen now. Many of them thought that Jesus was going to come and be a Messiah that restored Israel and overthrew the Romans, and now Jesus is dead. And some of them are probably fearing for their lives because it's well known that they were followers of Jesus. The future is at best uncertain, and at worst, frightening. And, I think that's where we find ourselves right now, if we're honest about it. The future is, in some ways, uncertain and frightening. And yet, Jesus said, I am with you always, even to the end of the world. Probably hard for the disciples and the people who he loved, who he was close to remember his words of comfort to remember that he said he would die and rise again. It's difficult for us sometimes to stop and remember that there are many times in our history when humans have gone through difficult times like this. And humanity is still here. God was with them in those times. And God is with us. And even when it feels like, is this ever going to end? It will. This is our Good Friday moment. These weeks that we spend isolated from each other, that we spend doing worship, doing life in a completely different way, being worried about the news or trying not to watch it because we're worried. This is kind of a little Good Friday for us. But the good news is, after Good Friday came Easter Sunday. And so right now, I think I would like to ask you if you would join me in trying to just live in the moment of that Good Friday moment we're in right now. Go ahead. Connect it to over 2,000 years ago with the uncertainty of those people wondering what they were going to do now that Jesus was gone. And just live in that with me for a little bit. Go ahead. It's okay to be sad that we can't be together. I'm very sad that the choir can't do our Good Friday choral program. It's been one of the most meaningful services to me of anything I've done in my career. One of the few times where I feel I'm able to enter the moment and worship and really just process the reality of Good Friday and of Jesus' sacrifice for us. And so I'm grieving that today. Whatever it is that you feel that you're lost, that you're grieving, I'd ask that you'd spend a few moments with me and go ahead if you need to cry. I've done a little bit of that the last few days, putting these services together. If you haven't had an opportunity to see the Good Friday service, it's very meaningful, and I hope Easter will be for you as well. But today, as I close, I'm going to play a couple pieces for you. A couple of hymn tunes that have meant an awful lot to me over the years. The first one is a wonderful piece, What Wondrous Love Is This? Wonderful Lenten and Good Friday hymn. And then after that, what was for many years one of my most favorite hymns. It's kind of hard to pick a favorite now, but O Sacred Head Now Wounded. The arrangement I'm going to play of that has a special place in my heart. I actually played that arrangement for the first time in public at a student recital on organ. I'm going to play it on piano today. Just think of Jesus, of his sacrifice. Think of his followers and of their uncertainty and fear. But you'll notice both of these pieces, while they're very mournful, they both end in a major key. And that's because Easter is coming. And just as it did many, many years ago for Jesus' friends and disciples, Easter is coming for us. Not just the celebration we will have Sunday, but someday we will make it through all of this, and we will look back and thank God for his faithfulness, even while we acknowledge what we have lost and think of the difficulties we've been in. So I hope you are both encouraged as well as are able to spend a few moments in reflection. Thank you all so much for your letters, emails of encouragement to us as a staff. It means so much to us to know that what we are doing is helpful, and so we thank you. And I thank you for that personally, but I know the whole staff does as well.